Straight ahead on the Chris Salcedo Show, what if there was no income tax? My next guest joins us to share his proposal to get government to stop punishing Americans who work and make money. Did you know there was a time in America where we didn't have to pay income tax? Yeah. 1913, the 16th Amendment allowed the government to punish Americans for making income. It was a terrible move, allowing the government to ride on our back, not walk by our side. But my next guest has a plan to return the common sense policies back to America, like rewarding those who undertake a desirable activity, earning money. The founder of Now Tax USA, Stephen Redden, joins me now. It's good to see you, sir. You want to get rid of the income tax. Now, number one, how do you do that? And how will government get funding for its legitimate constitutional functions?
Well, the way you get rid of the income tax and actual state level property taxes and let's say wealth taxes is you have to have a better tax system. What we've come up with is we call it the Citizens Tax Bill of Rights, and which is, to break it down into the actual system, it's a broad-based national sales tax program. And by broad base, to collect enough revenue to pay the expenses of the federal government, which we are not doing now. As a matter of fact, all the tax systems are failing, which is a patchwork and just a broken down system. With the Now tax or the broad-based sales tax, because it goes across a broader base of revenue gathering, basically all segments of the economy. And it does it at a very low rate because the multiplying effect of a broader base and effectively lowers the rate, but raises the tax revenues.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a little counterintuitive because I would have assumed this would reduce the money the government gets. What do you say to all those people? Let's just say, for example, that it would reduce some of the money, because these are the scare tactics many of these people against the fair tax are saying. Oh, you would defund our precious and beloved government. To them, these people believe government is the most important thing in the whole wide world, more important than our families, more important than our freedom, more important than our individual financial and economic freedoms. What would you say to those people who say you can't take away money from our beloved government? What would you say?
Well, just the opposite. Our system has more potential to collect more money. And by that, let's again, with a broader base, because you're going to tax all sale of goods, you're going to tax all transactions, and you're going to tax all services. But because it's a broad base, you're talking about a 1% to 2% pay-as-you-go tax. If you take our total economy, which is a word Now Tax came up with, which supersedes GDP. If you take total economy, first off, no one knows what it is, but our total economy could be, 500 trillion with stocks and bonds, bank loans. So if you do the multiplication of 1% or 2% on that large number, you can see that the multiplying effect of taxing a real small level is greater than taxing individuals, which, by the way, only 75 million people pay taxes, which leaves 230 million people who don't pay taxes. And believe it or not, most corporations don't pay taxes either. As a matter of fact, the federal budget only is funded 10% by corporations. I'm talking about C corps now.
Right.
So if you take all the different tax systems versus the Now tax or the broad-based sales tax, it's the multiplying effect that gets us to where we want to go. Plus, it's adjustable. It's like an interest rate. Isn't it funny how that with the taxes, they take big moves, 10%, 5%, 20%, 30%. But with the other economy, like with loans and like with the inflation, they're taking 1% moves, 2% moves. Now we're throwing our tax system in on the total economy. So now you're taking 1% and 2% moves.
Now, Kamala Harris wants to raise taxes on everybody, corporate taxes, as you already alluded to, and she also wants to tax money that people haven't even made yet, unrealized gains. So give me your thoughts on that.
Well, again, with broad-based tax, it eliminates all wealth taxes. And that's the kind of the secret sauce. And we go back to kind of our founding, the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. The original pursuit of happiness, actually, if you go back to John Locke, was individual sovereignty, which was a state. And our government was never intended to tax income, wealth, or property. So
yep, it's true.
That's our
so
theory.
True. Stephen, Well, it's not a theory. It's in practice. I mean, like I said, before the 16th
Right.
Amendment, we were doing those things. So it's not
Right.
like we haven't
Right.
been here and been successful with this type of thing before. And the fair tax, I think is also what your idea is classified as. If folks want to check out where they can learn more about this, where can they go?
Real briefly, just to clarify, the fair tax is a progressive sales tax. It's not a sales tax. It's a progressive consumer sales tax. It's structured just like an income tax, except for it's on the back end instead of the front end.
Gotcha. Where can folks go if they want to figure out what this is all about and do some more research?
It's nowtaxusa.com, nowtaxusa.com. And the thing to look at is to consider the Citizens Tax Bill of Rights. And there's our famous Carl Higbee right on the front screen.
Carl Higbee right there. Yeah, you talked to my pal Carl. Okay. Hey, Stephen Redden, thank you very much. Appreciate the time. And I think it's a fascinating look. We need to get back to doing something like that. Get the government out of our